Would society today agree that if we were collecting nearly £600 billion of tax, that we're just going to fund one family's very extravagant lifestyle instead of putting that money into where it is really going to be useful in the community? Hi there, it's Adam here from adaminsights.com. This channel is normally just about me having fun with cameras and photography and some of the gear that I use in travel videos. I'm not normally one to give a political or a social opinion, but this is something that has started to irk me, and I'm wanting to give my opinion on it on YouTube. Okay, so for me, in 2020, the royal family in the UK is completely and utterly irrelevant and out of touch and needs to be abolished. I want to just look at things logically here about why I think that they should be abolished. Now, the UK tax system in 2018-19 collected £595 billion worth of tax. About £180 billion worth of that was from income tax. Now, that money obviously goes to fund government, where at the very top, I guess you've got the parliamentary system with MPs from all over the country representing their local constituents, and hopefully Parliament votes on what the majority of the country wants. That money also goes to hospitals, to schools, to medical staff, to teachers, to law and order, police, the courts system, the military, defence, general infrastructure, safety, and public housing, public funding. That's where that money goes to. It even goes to fund art projects, or it goes to fund lots of great things to assist the community. Now, about £80 million, so a small amount, goes to the sovereign grant. Now, the sovereign grant is basically money in the back pocket of the royal family. There is a lot more money that is undisclosed, as far as I understand, which goes to their security, the upkeep of their homes and their transport, and anything else that they want, and anything else they can argue they need to bill to the British taxpayer. As a great example there used to be the Queen Mother. She would say she wants a brand new outfit for basically every day, as far as I understand, and she would say it was important for her to represent Britain. So basically her rather extravagant wardrobe would be paid for by the British taxpayer. So the royal family costs a lot, but that aside, if the UK was starting if the UK was starting its government in 2020, and someone was to stand up and say, right, we've got nearly £600 billion. Let's divide that up against around having a parliamentary system, education, police, defence, fire protection. Let's fund public housing. Everything that the community needs. Let's divide that money up and pay for it with that nearly £600 billion that we're collecting in tax every year. I'm sure everyone would say, yeah, let's divide it up as it's needed. No one, absolutely no one, in my view, would say, hang on, if we've got £600 billion, instead of dividing it up equally amongst everything or dividing it up as the community needs it, let's set aside a portion of that money to fund one figurehead family, and we're going to give them £80 million every year in a grant, and then we're going to give them a whole load more money. We're going to let them live in palaces around the country for free. And do you know what? They have got so many different palaces, houses, castles that are technically owned by the British government, but it's for the royal family's exclusive residential use. So no one would ever say, let's fund let's take some of the money that we're paying in tax today and fund a family to live a very extravagant lifestyle, and we'll pay for all of their transport, we'll pay for their accommodation in these amazing palaces, we will pay for them to have servants. And even Prince Charles apparently pays a servant to put the toothpaste on his toothbrush and to lift up the toilet seat for him. So that's where some of that British taxpayers' money is going. And what would anyone ever stand up and say, yes, we're going to take some of the money that we're collecting from the British taxpayer and pay for this family to live a very extravagant lifestyle? And by the way, what this family is going to do, without a significant amount of military experience, they're going to end up being in command of military units, and they're going to be made Captain General of the Guard or something along those lines. They're going to be made honorary Air Commodores and honorary Admirals, and the main thing that they're actually going to be doing is walking around the community for photo opportunities and shaking hands with people. Would society today agree that if we were collecting nearly £600 billion of tax, that we're just going to fund one family's very extravagant lifestyle instead of putting that money into where it is really going to be useful in the community? Now, let's just look at the sovereign grant for a minute. So the sovereign grant, about £80 million, as far as I'm aware. That might not seem like a huge amount of money compared to the £600 billion in tax, but let's just work it out. Let's say that the average salary of a teacher in the UK, or say a police officer, is £50,000 per year. 80 million divided by 50,000 is 1,600. So there you go, there could be an immediate 1,600 more police officers on the street. How many more public houses could £80 million cost? Well, let's say that, including land, a small family home in the UK costs £200,000 to build. So 80 million divided by 200,000, that's 400 new family homes that the UK could be giving to social disadvantaged families in the UK every year instead of the sovereign grant. And there are a lot of homeless families in the UK. So instead of building, say, just 400 houses every year to help socially disadvantaged families have a roof over their heads, the British taxpayer gives £80 million to one family to live a very extravagant lifestyle. And by the way, when this family wants to do things like travel overseas on an official tour, they bill the government of that family. They bill the government of that country. They don't pay for it themselves. In fact, the royal family pays for very little. If you use the example of Buckingham Palace as an example, it's theirs when they want to use it, it's the country's when someone has to pay for it. But do any homeless people in the UK get to sleep in Buckingham Palace? No. This is why I think that in 2020 the royal family is out of touch and needs to be abolished. It's just my opinion. I'm just a humble guy in Australia, but I've seen so much of all of this crud in the news lately about the royal family, and I've decided to come to this opinion, and I want to share it with you.